Hello and welcome to Lynette Clemens' Love Exquisite Magazine read. So what I'm doing is I'm reading from the May 2020 issue 10 edition of the Love Exquisite Magazine, which is available to you for free online at loveexquisite.com, LOVEEXQUISITE.com. I'm reading in the Empowering Moment section, and the word of the month for May is forgive. So that's a hard thing for some people to do, but it's an extremely important thing for people to do because it is liberating, it's freeing, and it helps you not carry the baggage and weight that other people deposited into your life, and it takes away those ill feelings that you may be harboring for others, and it just helps you as an individual live outside of the prison. So I'm gonna read again. It's called Forgive. It is the word of the month for May 2020. Forgiveness is a process that you have to be open and ready for. It is not always an easy thing to do. However, it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Oftentimes, we hold on to bad feelings for people who have wronged us in some way. And depending upon how deep it hurts us, we carry that hurt for several years. And if we are not careful, we will carry that hurt with us to other relationships and end up hurting people who had nothing to do with our past hurts. This is one of the reasons why forgiveness is so important. Not forgiving someone is like allowing that person to have control over how you feel and how you think. And no one should have that much control over you. Forgiveness is not for them, it is for you. Forgiveness does not mean that you are letting them off the hook for what they did. It means that you are no longer going to let them impact your life any longer. You have to be ready to forgive someone. The first thing that you have to be ready to do to be able to forgive someone is to be vulnerable. You have to be ready to be vulnerable. Vulnerable enough to go back to the moment and or moments that hurt you, and you have to be ready to be honest about how you feel about it. Oftentimes this might require counseling to help cope with the emotional feelings that will be evoked when opening up about what happened and how you feel about what happened. So if you are not ready to forgive and you try to move on and act like it doesn't bother you, what happens is you will shut down and go into avoidant mode and possibly even depression when triggered back into the pain the experience caused you. So it is better to prepare yourself first to have an open and honest conversation about what happened and how you feel about what happened. Then you have to be ready to have a conversation with the person who hurt you and let them know how what they said or did impacted you in your life. Sometimes in doing so, this will also trigger your mind to go back into the moment when the incident occurred. So make sure that you are prepared first. That's extremely important. You also might not get the anticipated response or apology from the person. So be prepared for that as well, because you may go and approach the person and say, well, I felt this way when you said this or when you did this to me, and then you might expect them to apologize, but some people might not be ready to apologize. So you have to be ready for that as well, because you can't make a person say I'm sorry and mean it if they don't feel that they did anything wrong. It's unfortunate but true. So in your preparedness, you also have to be ready to be okay with never getting an apology, because this will require the other person to be ready to be accountable for his or her actions and how their actions affected you. It is not everyone's intention, so this is important to know. It is not everyone's intention to hurt you by their actions. So oftentimes when you communicate to others about how their actions made you feel, he or she might not even know that what they said or did hurt you. So when speaking with them, you can and should address what they said and did. If the other person is not ready to be held accountable or accept the fact that they hurt you, that is not your problem. It's their problem. When we then have to accept that the person is incapable of being who we think they should be in that particular situation. And unfortunately, we have to accept them for who they are. So when a person shows you by their actions who they are, you actually have to believe them. And at that point, it is no longer between you and them. It's between them and God. Because God holds us accountable for our actions, even if we do not hold our own selves accountable. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to continue to be friends. It doesn't mean that you have to continue to be in a relationship with the person, nor does it mean that you have to interact with the person. It just means that you will not allow that person to impact your life in a negative way anymore. However, if the relationship is repairable and it's something that you can recover from, you can recover and you can rebuild the relationship by working together to figure out and to be mindful and considerate of each other's feelings, of one another's feelings. Again, remember, forgiveness is for you. So we should always forgive so that we can move on with our lives without holding on to past hurts. Do not allow someone else to have that much power over your life. You deserve to be released from the prison that unforgiveness puts you into. So you deserve to be released from the prison that unforgiveness puts you into. Do not expect yourself to be able to forgive someone immediately. That's not what I'm saying. So remember, what I'm saying is forgiveness is a process. So it's similar to the process of grief. So you first have to acknowledge what happened. You can't act like you're okay when you're not okay. You have to accept that what happened cannot be changed after it has already happened. So once a person does something that hurts you, you can't expect them to undo what they already did. The damage is already done, unfortunately. So you have to be honest about that. You have to be honest about how you feel about what happened. So again, you can't act like you're not bothered if you are bothered, because on the inside you'll see, you'll be able to tell by your actions and interactions with that person. And sometimes it's also displaced anger. When you're mad at one person, you want to take it out on people that they associate with, but that's not fair. If you're mad, be mad at who you're mad at. Don't carry that baggage, which is another reason why you should forgive, so you don't carry that baggage to other people, again, who had nothing to do with why you're upset. You can't be guilty by association. Even though some people do that, you shouldn't be guilty by association. If you're mad at my friend and I hang out with my friend, don't be mad at me because I hang out with my friend. If I've never done anything to you personally, then you have no reason to be mad at me. So kind of remember that when you have this displaced anger. You have to forgive because you don't want to carry that, because it will impact other relationships and other friendships as well. So you have to be ready to receive whatever the outcome of the conversation might be. So you have to be willing to accept that the person might not be ready to be held accountable. They might not be ready to say, I'm sorry. And they might not feel like they even owe you an apology. So you have to be ready for that. You have to also take ownership in the role that you played in the situation. So if it's a situation in where you contributed to the confusion, then you have to take ownership of that and be ready to apologize for the role that you played, if you played an active role into why there is a conflict situation between the two of you, or however many people it is there is. So you have to be okay with the possibility. Again, I can't reiterate this enough, with the fact that you may never hear I'm sorry. Some people just will not admit to their own flaws or their own faults. They just might not ever do that. You have people with narcissistic personalities. You have people who like to defer or deflect, I should say. It's never them, it's always you. So you have those type of people. So you have to be ready that you might not ever hear, I'm sorry. So you have to be okay with that. Leave them where they are. You forgive them for what they did and move on with your life. Move on no matter what. So after you have truly forgiven someone, do not bring up the situation again, because it will definitely take you back to the unforgivable place again, and evoke the same or invoke the same traumatic experiences, which will set you back to that stinking thinking and that bad negative mood that you're in when you think about this person or when you're around this person. It takes you back to those painful thoughts. And then what happens is hurt people tend to hurt people. So until we are all ready to heal ourselves by forgiving others, it will be a never-ending vicious cycle of broken people in this world hurting each other. So to break that vicious cycle, we must all learn to forgive, because forgiveness has an unimaginable healing potential that will allow us to begin to mend our broken pieces and live a fulfilling life without carrying any baggage with us. So, who do you have to forgive today? Think about it. What are those innermost thoughts and innermost feelings of anger and frustration and anxieties that plague your life and impact you on a daily basis? Or, when you're around this person, it's like your whole mood changes in a negative way. Who do you have to forgive today? So whoever that person is, or whoever those people are, start working towards forgiving them. And again, it is a process. So start working towards the process so that you can be released from that prison. No one, again, I mean, absolutely no one deserves to have that much control over your life. So take your control back and forgive today. Forgive. So this is written by me, Lynette Clement, in the Empowering Moments section. The word of the month is forgive. It's in the May 2020 Love Exquisite Magazine. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, so each month I'll be bringing you different components of the magazine. So we have a wealth of information in the magazine. It not only covers aspects of life in general, it also covers sports. It also talks about financial management. It also talks about fashion and beauty, travel, and different topics, entertainment as well. So make sure you check out the magazine. It is for free, and we do this for you. So we educate to elevate at the Love Exquisite Magazine. My name is Lynette. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and tell a friend to tell a friend so that we can all become better people. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer. Stay safe and stay well.